Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Heya, I'm Hana Q, your local digital artist, and today I'm drawing more of your characters in my style. And let me be early to tell you all Happy Lunar New Year to those who celebrate. Also, make sure to watch until the end for the hashtag to submit your OC in the next video. Anywho, let's start the new year strong once again by indulging in some of your OCs over on Instagram. Okay, let's get right into it, shall we? So we have a new hashtag this time. It's Hana Doodle My OC 8. I'm very excited, so let's get started. Oh my gosh! Like, I love the little top hat and the belts. Gosh, that is gorgeous. I love this. And I really like her skin tone as well. It's like this beautiful olive tone, and I think that's so gorgeous. That's so cute! Okay, I'm like really obsessed with like mermaid core, seashells, and bubbles. I love big round circle glasses. I want a pair exactly like this. Oh my goodness! I love the expression, but the green and pink. I'm obsessed. Okay. This is a jellyfish kind of themed character. Long pointy ears, and I love that you just decked them out with earrings. From the beginning to end, there is no space spared. I respect that. Oh my gosh. I want whatever she's having, first of all. But secondly, I love the orange. I have such a crush on this character. Like, it's so stylish. The hoodie with the jacket over it. Gorgeous. She's so cute. Oh, she has this adorable look with the ribbons and all, but her jacket and her outfit are a little bit stylish, a little bit cool. As always, thank you for sharing your OCs with me to draw. I am very honored that you all would share them with me. I can only pick a few to draw each time, so I tried to pick some that I thought I could give a good swing at. This time, the first OC I'm drawing is by @umew_Kaz. So Umew says that they are having trouble coming up with a name for her, and I know you guys are super creative with names, so make sure to leave some suggestions down below for her. According to her description, she likes tinkering, fashion, and the outdoors, which is really cute because I consider myself to be a bit of a tinkerer as well. To start, I always do a rough sketch of the character, and this time I've been obsessed with drawing wild Hanekyu hair, which is what I'm calling it now. So we are just going to be indulgent as always and draw the hair flying wildly across the canvas, and I thank you guys for allowing your OCs to be my muses for this. Afterwards, I'll do line art on top of the sketch, giving special attention to creating hair and braids looping within each other. Once that's all done, it's time to add the base colors. I partly chose this character because I loved the dark olive skin tone, and I wanted to try and color it as best as I could. She happens to have a blue ombre in certain parts of her hair, so I'll make sure to add that as well. And as I prepare this piece for coloring and shading, I'd like to take a quick moment to share with y'all the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. I've been getting accustomed to using Squarespace, and let me tell ya, it is ridiculously easy to use. As an all-in-one website platform, you've got the ability to design, sell products, and engage with your audience all in one place. It's really intuitive, and that helps a lot when the last thing I want to worry about between art projects and videos is making sure my website looks good and, more importantly, works as intended. Design tools. When you're ready to add color to your page, Squarespace has tons of custom color palettes for you to try on quickly. And once you've got that perfect vibe, switch around the colors to add variation between your pages. Duplicate pages and content. You can easily duplicate pages and other content to test out or speed up your website building process. Passwords and page locks. While your page is under construction, you can easily add a password lock to create private areas on your site. Hit save, and now your page is successfully locked until you're ready to go live. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/HanaQ to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And now, back to the video. Now I'll begin shading, starting with the face. She has reddish blush and lips, so I make sure to emphasize that. Then on separate layers, clip to the folder containing all the base layers below. I'll set it to multiply and begin creating the lighting. I'll also create overlay layers to emphasize the light. I played around with the idea of a pink lighting, but I felt like it didn't stay too true to the character's colors, so I went with more natural light, although still with a bright light and dark shadows. At this point, I'll start shading the hair with a technique called atmospheric perspective, which I covered more in my last video, which you can watch by clicking the card at the top. I've shared a lot of my findings and techniques with y'all as I've been learning more about art and trying to improve. I don't feel confident enough yet to make tutorials, but we're getting there. Instead, today I wanted to talk about burnout, perfectionism, and managing expectations. As some of you may know, I've been doing a challenge where I follow a one-year schedule to learn how to draw. It's completely self-imposed, and I have to do a lot of the lesson plans, studying, and research myself because I cater the schedule to my specific needs as I'm not a beginner artist. It's been great, and I picked it up again last month and found great improvements. But I suddenly felt this pressure to keep one-upping myself, and it caused me a lot of anxiety in trying to make new art. Sometimes, when we create great work, we keep feeling like the next one has to be even better than the last. But this is one surefire way to completely burn yourself out. So I always love going back to doing these Draw Your OC videos because it reminds me of one great purpose in art: to give back and share the joy of drawing with others. It doesn't really matter if I'm good or not because everyone experiences joy from having their characters drawn, and I love that. On that note, I'll finish up this OC, but I'll be saving a special final reveal at the end, so keep watching until then. I'll also continue my discussion as we head into drawing the second OC. For our second OC, I'm drawing Oikuo by @Oikuo_Lee. Well, of course this character is insanely adorable, but I was honestly itching to draw a character with pink hair because it is never enough. And Oikuo is just insanely adorable. I love her earrings, and she kind of matches with the last OC because they both have braids and a blue ombre. I love subtle matching OCs like this, so I always take the opportunity when I see it. The process is the exact same as the last, where I'm doing a sketch for the character, making sure to give it the signature wild Hanekyu hair. Afterwards, I'll line the piece. She has a really interesting, cool, and cute vibe going on with her adorable ribbons, yet she has a cool oversized crop jacket and piercings, which is great because I always welcome a little spice with my sugar. Now I'll start adding base colors and prepare the piece for shading. I begin my shading with the skin. Then I work my way to lighting. I do the same thing as before, which is creating a multiply layer on top of my folder containing my base colors, then also using overlay layers to emphasize the lighting. Now I'll proceed to shade the piece using techniques that I've covered in my latest videos. As I mentioned earlier, I began to develop a lot of anxiety over the idea of creating new artworks. I was afraid of the white canvas, which is something I never feared before sharing my art processes with the world. Putting myself out there, not sparing a single piece, is something that is rewarding, but is an incredibly vulnerable process. Don't get me wrong, 99.9% of the comments I get from you guys are all love and support, and I know I'm extremely lucky for that, and I'm grateful to you guys. But I'm introverted as heck, so let's just say I still feel a little awkward sometimes with attention. You see, there are great pros to sharing your art. It keeps you accountable, you get to connect with people, you document your journey, and sometimes you can even use it as a way to land a gig. And the internet is incredible because of how fast we can all share and connect. But sometimes I fear letting you guys down. What if I'm not improving fast enough or at all? What if I get worse? What if I can't replicate the great works I've already done? These are natural fears when it comes to art, and sometimes I get myself really down and in a dark place because of it. Though I I fell off the wagon a little bit after such a successful month because I put such immense pressure and expectations on myself to keep doing better. My inner perfectionist was coming out again, but I picked up the pieces because I remembered that this is why I have to keep practicing. The more we practice and don't give up, the more consistent we become. The great pieces won't feel like lucky accidents, but they'll become more and more likely with discipline. And it's not just for the sake of the art, it's for our own sakes too, because the sustained effort will make our days more fulfilling and make us happier with ourselves. I know it's hard, but I would rather experience the pain of discipline and practice than the pain of giving up on myself and running away. It's a little boring, but I found myself really enjoying the mundane lately. Not much of a solution, but I hope my little thoughts can bring you a little more peace and guidance on your own art journeys. The piece is just about finished, and I think I'm liking these pieces. Alright, enough chit chat from me. Let's wrap up and move on ahead to the final reveal of the drawings. I hope you guys enjoyed the final reveal. It was a bit more of a chatty one, but hopefully we'll be back to some regular schmegular fun times in the next one. Enjoy some more cute fan arts from the community. Thank you guys so much. I always love seeing each and every one of them. Alright, so to participate in the next video of me drawing your OC in my style, all you need is an Instagram account and a picture of your OC. Upload it to Instagram using the hashtag HanaDoodleMyOC9. That's the next hashtag. As always, feel free to add a description of your OC like their name, personality, and backstory. And I'm looking forward to seeing them in the next video. Until next time, I'm wishing you all the best on your journeys of achieving your goals and dreams. Bye!